we came back and discussed some questions that we could possibly answer. We brainstormed some questions and we put them on Post-it notes with Mrs. Will. And then we sorted them into groups if they were testable or non-testable. And then we talked about them.
So we got into pairs and we sorted them, and then we put the testable questions on the poster for testable, and then we sorted what we didn't have the apparatus for and what we just couldn't test. And then the ones that we couldn't test, we wrote questions that we thought we could test.
We put them into different words to see if they were able to be testable.
Well, if it was a yes or no question, then it wasn't testable.
And if you could just look it up, then that really wasn't testable because you weren't learning anything.
Final testable question is, how do we know that the Vermilion River is healthy enough for our trout?
We went down and looked for macroinvertebrates. We were really excited that we actually got to catch them with nets and stuff. It was really fun. The reason we know if our lake is healthy or non-healthy is the type of macroinvertebrates that are in the river.
We went down to the river by our school last fall, and it was super fun. We brought nets and buckets. It was awesome. Yeah, the water was pretty cold, but it was still super fun. We got crayfish, snails, pouch snails. We walked them in a bucket, then we put them in a tank.
After collecting the macroinvertebrates, we came back to the classroom and Ms. Current put a big bucket of water with all the little macroinvertebrates in it, and we identified them with a chart that Ms. Current gave us.
There was a bunch of different ones, and we took them out in little tins with water in them and used magnifying glasses to look at them. There were scorpions and little things that looked like caterpillars.
Some of the things were really small and some of them were really big, and it was really fun to like look at the chart and see if you could find one, so it was kind of really fun like that.
After we identified the macroinvertebrates, we discovered that some were intolerant, tolerant, and semi-tolerant.
Tolerant means that they can swim in pollutioned water, and intolerant means that they can't swim in pollutioned water.
After we discovered the different groups, we started researching which different ones, and we started doing sketches and learning more about each macroinvertebrate.
After we identified the macroinvertebrates, we get to make large sketches of our favorite ones. So my favorite one was the gilled snail, and it was pollution intolerant.
And the one that I drew on was the crane fly, and it was pollution intolerant too.
The next thing we did was visual assessment of our river.
That means we did the temperature, the riparian zone, water clarity, and barriers. And the riparian zone, it was wide. The riparian zone is like the edges of the river, and so we got to see how much water was there, and if it was just a dry area or just water was running, and
there was a lot of vegetation.
Lots, yes, very good. And the water clarity was where we
saw how clear it was and how far we could go down with the yardstick.
Yeah, and see how much we can see it, how deep we can see without it just like blocking our sight. And finally, the barriers.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any. I know there was some trees that fell down, but fish could definitely swim through there.
Yeah, I don't really think I saw any barriers. I think it was clear the day we went. So yeah, that is what we did for the visual assessment.
Based on our biological assessment and visual assessment,
we figured out that our river was not excellent, but it was very good.
What did you find?
I found a mackerel vertebrate, I think it is. 2 of them.
Can you point it out to me?
There's one right...
Oh, I see it moving. Is that what's moving around in there?
There's one right there and one right there.
Look at how clear that water is too. Yeah, I see that. Cool. Did you know that the river had this many mackerel invertebrates?
No.